Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another video. Today's topic is imposter syndrome. It's taken me a while to grasp my own understanding of my experience in this, but I've done it somewhat, I guess. It's funny because I've been thinking, like, it's been a while since I've been trying to record this, but my attention was on other stuff. Spirit keeps sending me, like, a reminder. So with this one, I was on Instagram and all of a sudden, bam, someone had did a small little Instagram reel on imposter syndrome. And I was like, wow, okay, I need to do it. Like, this is a sign, like, you need to do it. And then I had watched a video and it wasn't, they didn't define it correctly. And I was like, okay, Spirit, yeah, you're letting me know that this needs to be done. So let's do it. So, imposter syndrome is achieving things in your life, doing, or not even like high achieving things, but the act of doing things in your life and then you feeling like a fraud or doubting yourself in what you're doing. So it's like you're doing the actual thing, but then in your mind and how you perceive the thing that you just did doesn't match, and you feel like you didn't accomplish anything even though you did something. It's like a feeling like a fake person, a phony person. And I don't know, for some reason I've just been like, and I can't even say that it's been recent. I feel like this has been a lot of my life, is like just downplaying my accomplishments and the things that I achieve and the things that I do. But it really stems from not wanting to feel like a hypocrite, not wanting to be defined as a fake person. And in my past, there are events. So in the church, this mostly has to do with me and my mom, but like in our church, my church days with her, there was a big emphasis on like being a hypocrite. That's something that's very relevant in Christian church, whatever. And my mom would always like judge people and have something to say about people who were considered like hypocrites. And that word and the resonance of that concept really like stuck with me deeply. I don't know why, but it did. And I just never wanted to be the person that was seen as a hypocrite, seen as a person who was I don't want to use the terminology, saying that they are saved or that they are living the life that Jesus told them and God told them to live. But then in their everyday life, they're doing something completely different and not being that. And so, honestly, maybe it's because of how many people talked about people that did that. But in reality, it was literally all of them. They were all hypocrites. They all never really lived this perfect life according to these defined laws and terms and BS. And so I guess I just didn't want to be talked about or perceived in that way, as being the person who says one thing and does another. I was very keen on like truth and walking what you're talking. Damn. Walk it like you talk it. Why would I make a Migos reference? Anyways, practicing what you preach. That was very important to me. And I just really wanted to be a genuine person. And so that led down the rabbit hole of also dealing with other kids and them being fake, like them pretending to be something in my face and then doing something different, or talking behind my back and stuff like that. Like I despised fake people. Still do. I wouldn't say that I still despise them. I just don't like that behavior. Like just be you. Just be you. But yeah, those accumulation of events led to like overanalyzing, underrating, not really appreciating the things that I'm doing, because I feel like, am I really doing that to help? Or is there like some subconscious manipulation going on? Am I really a good person just for doing this one thing to help someone? Am I really a good person for like buying a homeless person a meal? Like, is it me that's just looking for some type of fulfillment to do this and that for this homeless person, even though I felt the need to, buy something for them? It's like always having to question the genuineness of my character, the genuineness of my actions and what I'm doing, because I don't want to be perceived as a hypocrite and be perceived as a person who's like also like a manipulator. Like, I know there's subconscious manipulation, and there's manipulation that you don't do on purpose. You just do it because it's out of habit or out of what you've learned and you're not realizing it. But it's like, I really don't want to be that. And so it's like I put an extra burden on myself to make sure that I really am genuine. I really am doing this for a good cause, good reason. I really am doing this because I want to do it. But it's gone so far into just questioning myself, like questioning everything I do, it not being good enough, there possibly being a second motive behind it. It's like, okay, girl, when are you going to ever acknowledge that? Yes, you are a genuine person. Yes, you are doing this because you want to. No, you're not a hypocrite. No, you're not fake. And even if I fucking was, it's my life and it has nothing to do with other people. And the only person judging you, the only person judging you for possibly being fake or a background manipulator is yourself. And you're being extra hard on yourself. And it's just like, wow, okay. That's deep. And like, how do I stop doing this? It's such an ingrained, learned behavior that I just naturally do with everything. Like everything good I do, I question myself. everything good I do, I feel like I'm faking it, or I'm subconsciously having this motive or agenda behind it. And it's like when I was younger and I did so many things for the community. I volunteered so much. I was always around kids, helping kids. I was so ingrained and involved into that life, and I didn't question those things. I just always gave from my heart and gave from just wanting to help. And granted, that was in a place where I was in self-sacrifice. Um, like I have to overgive everything of myself to all these people because they need help. And since I have changed that, I still doubted myself then. So I can't even use that as an example because I still doubted myself then. And I was still always, it was still this energy of make sure you're humble. Make sure you don't get a big head. Make sure that you're not trying to put yourself in like a glorified position. But these are all like voices of church people around me, and my mom talking about other people, and just all that. Just because I didn't want to be that person that was being talked about in that way. When honestly, like my mom's sitting there talking about those people, but not even talking about herself and what she's doing and acting like she's living the perfect life. What is that saying? It's like you're pointing the finger, but make sure that all the fingers pointing back at you are clear and clean. And 99% of the time, most of those people, it was all dirty too, and they just want to point the finger because they don't want to be accountable and responsible and look at themselves. But I picked up that habit, and more recently I feel like it's gotten worse. Like I feel because I have stepped back so much from my communities, my self-sacrifice community service, I feel like everything I do is not good enough, or I somehow have this subconscious agenda. And when in reality, that's not true. I am a genuine, and that's why like in my videos when you hear me say like, at the core of my being, I am this, is because it's like I really struggle with accepting that and like really knowing that I'm a good person and that I care. And maybe that has to do with like my like struggle with having like sacred, meaningful friendships that that last and that are very truly meaningful to me and like are sacred. I've had so many experiences with people and friendships, and they just haven't gone well, and it just always led to me questioning myself like, was I really a good friend? Was I really good to this person? Because it seems like every person that becomes my friend is just dropping off. Like I can never build long-term friendship that is not in rooted in sacrifice and rooted in my needs not being met and me doing everything for another person. All my relationships are always deeply rooted in self-sacrifice, and that I'm just going to do everything for this person and I don't have to receive anything back. And I enjoyed some of my friendships. I really did. And even though there was internal struggles that I had with keeping them and letting them go or letting them fade away, I still tried. And I just have to realize like that doesn't define anything, but it's also like still working through that trauma of like continuously losing people who I thought were going to be my friends for a lifetime. Or my lack of ability to have lifetime healthy friendships. Man, a quick side note. I just I've always been good at being this background person in people's lives. And somehow this always happens to me. It's like I end up in this friend group situation, right? I end up with either three or more people, and we're all like getting in and like, okay, we're starting to all become friends, we're relating to each other and stuff like that. And then somehow, this always happens to me, somehow I get thrown to the background, and the other people build close relationship, but that doesn't include me. It's funny, but it's not funny. It's like they go on to be like close and best friends, and like start doing everything together and seeing each other all the time, texting, all the things like that. And then it's like I'm over here like crickets, like sending a message and not getting a response. Offering an invitation to hang out, but no, they can't. But they're hanging out. It. I don't know why that happens to me. Like and it always happens to me. It just happened recently. Like I thought we were all gonna become friends, and then like they stopped talking to me, and then I see them again, or I see one of them again, and I ask them how the other person is doing. They're just like, oh yeah, we've been together this and we've been doing that, and it's like, oh, so you've just been ignoring me. Okay. Okay. And I don't get to the point where I get mad anymore. It's just like, okay, well, story of my life. I don't have friends. I don't have, yeah, away from the divot. I did a journal prompt on imposter syndrome, and so I want to see if there's anything I want to share about it. I'm gonna see what anything I want to share that I wrote. I always highlight and pay attention to my failures. Then I glance over and diminish my accomplishments. All of my accomplishments feel like a fraud. It feels like I'm only doing things in life to get a return. That's not true though, and it's not who I am. I am loving and I am genuine. I love to help. But that voice that I created and sharpened has been doing its job. It's like the negative voice that is in my head. For a long time, I've always said it's my mom, but it was like it came from my mom, and then I like took an excerpt from her and created my own, and then like gradually sharpened it over time, like made it what it is today. Like I continued her work for her within me, within myself, to keep myself on track and make sure that I'm always humble and that I don't get the word in Christian is feel holier than thou. I now that I think about it, my mom and my grandma are so obsessed with that. Like they literally had power struggle issues and wanting to be in power, that they always try to come for people and say like, oh, you feel like you're holier than thou, you feel like you're better than me. And it was just like, boo. Honestly, it's just because you don't think highly of yourself, and because this person's confident or this person is doing something that you don't like, you're going to try to tell them that they think that they're better than you. Like my grandma would literally try to get into power struggles with me over college stuff. Like she didn't go to college. I think she went to like community college. And not to say anything about like community college and state college and UC college, like college is college, whatever. It's all about the information that you retain and what you learn, honestly. And it's not for everybody, and you can learn those same things in your own way that doesn't involve going to college. But for some reason, I took courses in child development, and she's in child development she's a part of a center that is like heavily centered in child development, and she's been there for like a majority of her life, for many years. And so whenever child development things would come up, she always wanted to like come for me about my knowledge that I had. And it was just like, girl, you ain't been in college in how many years? And you didn't graduate college. I graduated college. And it's not to say it like that, and that's not being boastful. I'm just stating the information. But you're sitting here trying to school me and tell me this and that. And it's like, I went to school to learn this information. I passed my class. And it's like that's not all the information in the world, no. But it's like she always had this thing of like, oh, because you went to college, you feel like you're better than me. But in reality, she created that perception in her head and always try to blame me and say that I did that. But she's the one who created that persona in her head of that I feel like I'm better than her because I graduated college and took courses in child development. It's like, okay. Anyways. Like I was saying, this part of me was created in the light of my mother. All the negativity and criticism she shared was internalized. At some point, I felt the need to match and create the same energy of my inner world. My daily inner voice became the guide to always critique, criticize, analyze, and internalize. At first, I blamed my mother for this part of myself. And then I realized I have to take responsibility for continuing and enhancing this part of myself. I was so obsessed with being a perfect person that everyone could like and love. I would cut, diminish, criticize, analyze myself so harshly on a constant basis. I had myself in the hot seat, grilling, prepping, tearing down, and so much more, constantly. Now I'm in a war with the thing I created and trying to punish it and put it in its place forcefully. I feel like I'm training a wild dog and it's refusing to give up its will. It's fighting back and fighting for the life it used to have, the life it once knew, the life it found comfort in. Always trying to find a flaw in everything that I do, and when there isn't one, then it overanalyzes to create one. I feel like I've lost my will to find happiness, my will to accomplish whatever I want, the will to show up as my loving self, my will to help the world, my will to be me, all of me. Siphoning any hopeful energy, any energy of hope, prosper, generosity, positivity, literally siphoning the energy out of that. In the name of analyzing, in the name of being humble, in the name of taming myself to not be better than I honed my skills to become my biggest critic, to highlight all of the bad I do, to avoid being a hypocrite. Honestly, right now, I don't have the answer of how to change this, how to break down that part of myself. I keep telling myself that I'm gonna love that part of myself, but it's like sometimes in the moment when I'm experiencing something and I want to just feel the joy and happiness of it, and then that part of me just like shows up and it's ready, like, no, we're not being happy. No, we can't feel this. And it starts just taking the energy and the life out of that. I get upset and frustrated and just like, I just want you to stop. Just stop. Like, just stop. And that creates resistance. It creates murkiness. It creates a battle. I think I can honestly say like I don't know how to love that part of myself because I'm just really ready for it to be gone. But I know that part of myself needs love, and it's just like I feel like a battle I can't win because it's like against myself, like, and it's just like I created that, and like how can I just tell it like just go the fuck away? Like I literally created you and refined and taught and all the things I did to create it to what the giant beast that it's become today. It feels like a giant beast to me. It feels like I'm fighting an army of 1,000 people. And I'm the one person that's fighting this army of 1,000 people. And it feels like I can't win against it. And it feels like this part of me is going to be forever in control of my life because it doesn't want to feel happiness or feel loved. It feels like it's doing the best possible thing to make sure that I don't become a fake person. But I don't even subscribe to that anymore. Like, that's not something that I believe in anymore. Not that I don't believe in fake people, I don't believe that I am capable of ever becoming a fake person, a hypocrite. And even if I am, I know and accept that even if I fail at something, that I can forgive myself, I can move on, I can recognize that that's something that's happening and redo it. But for this one thing, it's like, nah, we ain't going down easy. It's like frustrating, sad, and it always puts me in a place of like depression. It makes me feel like I'm always going to be stuck this way, and that's not going to change for me, and that I'm not going to be able to evolve beyond this capping point because the beast that I created doesn't want to let me go, doesn't want to be let go of. So, shout out to my fellow people struggling with imposter syndrome. I also really don't believe in labels. Like, I don't. But this is something that has a name to it. So, I'm just giving it the name that the world has come up with. Um, yeah, whatever it looks like for you, it doesn't have to be imposter syndrome. It can be whatever you know it to be. But here's my encouragement to you to keep trying, to not to keep fighting it, but to doing the research and figuring out how to love that part of yourself, into alignment, into coherence with who you truly are. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys. My Yeah. Thank you for listening. If you stayed the whole time, I appreciate you. You are so very loved. You can make it through anything that you are experiencing. And the best first step is awareness. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.